division principle. So the division principle, so to undo multiplication, we do the opposite, and we're going to go ahead and divide. So, right, rule is whatever we do to one side of the equation, then we must do to the other side of the equation. Right, and we can go back to our scale. Right, and so we have our scale, right, and there's something there, right? So say, if we want to, say, cut this in half, right, this whole thing, if we do it to one side, then we have to do it to the other side, right? So when we cut it in half, means we're going to divide it by 2, right? So that's how we can kind of think about the division principle in terms of we have to do it to both sides. So let's go ahead and look at the first example. So example 1, you need to have groups of 4 kids for an activity. How many groups would you have if there are 12 kids? So R, right, stands for our groups, the number of 4 kids for each one, and then there's a total of 12 kids. So let's think about this. So we have 12 equals 4R. So we're trying to solve for R. So we need to get by itself. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and divide by 4 on both sides. So if we divide by 4 on the right hand side, right, this just becomes 1. Now we have to do it to the other side. So here's 4. 12 divided by 4, well, that is 3. So R is equal to 3. So there would be 3 groups of 4 kids in each, because we have a total of 12 kids. And that makes sense, right? Because 4 times 3 is equal to 12. So let's look at another example. Example 2. So if each kid has about a 3-foot wingspan when they stretch out their arms, how many kids would you need to be lined up from stretched out arm to stretched out arm to show something being 75 feet long? So we're trying to think of to show them scale. So we have a 75-foot thing that we want to kind of show them, like just like how long that is. And if each kid has about 3 feet, what we need to do is solve for how many kids there needs to be. So 3p equals 75. So if we go ahead and divide by 3 on both sides, this just becomes 1. Then we're left with p all by itself on the one side. And now 75 divided by 3 is equal to 25. So P is equal to 25. Now, we didn't have to pull out the calculator because I kind of was just thinking about it in terms of quarters, right? That 3 quarters is equal to 75 cents. So 75 divided by 3 would be equal to 25. Let's look at another example. So example 3, we're going to use the equation below to solve. So we have 45 is equal to 15x. So in order to solve, we need to get x by itself. So we're going to go ahead and divide by 15 on both sides. This just becomes 1. Now 45 divided by 15 is, we can get our calculators out, 45 divided by 15 is equal to 3. So x is equal to 3. Now let's look at one more example. Example 4, we're going to use the equation below to solve. So we have 7t, and that's equal to 84. In order to solve, we need to get t by itself. So we need to find what value of t is, and the way we do that is we divide by 7 on both sides. So it gets rid of it here, that just becomes 1, right? 1t, or just t, right? 1t is equal to just t. And then we have 84 divided by 7. So if you aren't sure what that is, get the calculator out, go ahead and solve, and that's equal to 12. So t is equal to 12.